Hey guys, Ryan here, and today I'm gonna be doing my race recap of the race from last night because it got over at like 2 in the morning and I had class this morning, so that was fun. But yeah, so I'm gonna just kind of break down the race. I actually got my phone somewhere around here for top. Then I'll figure out where that is. But yeah. Oh, but first off, what a finish! Like I don't want to skip the first two stages of the race, but man, Eric Jones holding off one of the best in the sport, Kyle Busch, for the Darlington 500 race win. Really a driver skill victory. So even if you don't count his win in the Stenhouse Demolition Derby at Daytona, he's now won 2 races in his career. That'll also help, and I'm sure that it's going to come out pretty soon that he's going to be re-signed to Gibbs for another 1 to 2 years at least. Off of this win because hey, this is one of the hardest wins to get, especially when you're battling Kyle Busch at the end. And then also shout out to Kyle Larson getting himself a top three finish. Came up 1 position shy on the race win. Kyle Busch, even after clobbering the wall, and ended up where did he finish? He ended up like 17, 18 seconds back, but he ended up still third on the running order. Harvick fourth, Keselowski fifth, and just kind of workman-like days. With this finish, though, Kyle Busch did clinch the regular season championship, so everybody get out your Kyle Busch hate, because I know a lot of you don't like it. It was also a sellout crowd for which I think was an awesome thing. I know a friend that had a big group there. But yeah. But it was a sellout crowd for the first time in what feels like a while, and certainly is a great thing to see in the post-Dale Jr. era when we've kind of lost the last of our superstars. Once Jimmy Johnson retires, we'll really have lost all of them, but we lost Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and Dale Jr., and even lesser popular but still pretty popular drivers like Carl Edwards and Kenseth and even Greg Biffle. We've just lost so many that the fact that we still have a loyal fan base that's filling the stands to their capacity, apparently. I'm excited to see if this can carry a swing of momentum. Of course, there was still not that many empty seats, despite this race was rain delayed from a start time of about 6 p.m. to a start time of after 10 p.m. So, yeah, I stayed up to watch it all, even though I probably shouldn't have. Bowyer, Kurt Busch, DiBenedetto gained another top 10. That's certainly going to help him with trying to make a bid to get in a car. I just don't know what competitive ride is going to be available. I mean, unless he takes an SHR car, that's like the only competitive team I can think that's going to have an opening. Maybe Ganassi gives them an opportunity, but they seem more committed to Chastain right now. I think he might have to go back to Xfinity for a year or two, potentially with Gibbs to develop in Xfinity and then move up with Extreme Concepts Racing. I kind of said this in a few silly season videos. Paul Menard and Austin Dillon both are kind of out of title contention, but they round out the top 10, so solid kind of almost career, trying to help save their careers potentially. Granted, Austin Dillon's never going to lose his career because his granddad owns the team, and with Menard, his dad funds his car and one other pretty much. Shout out to Chris Buescher finishing 12th after starting 12th. So hey, if you can get there, you can get there. So let's see. Any other notables in the top 20? The other 2 Penske guys both didn't make top 15. And actually, the fact that William Byron, after sitting on the pole, finished 21st, that's a bit of a concern. Newman and Suarez are now tied on the bubble, with, I believe, the tiebreaker is to Suarez right now. But yeah, right now, though, they are tied on the playoff standings after Newman still has not finished 25th or worse. He is still always finished inside that top 25 this season. Denny Hamlin had an issue there late in the race. And we actually didn't see that much for wrecks or cautions. Like we saw the 54 car go for a one-car spin. Then we saw the 51, I think, tear himself up. And then we had that big pileup with like McDowell, LaJoy, and several others kind of pile up into that. Denny Hamlin was in that. Yeah. And let's not talk about how my fantasy went last night, because I'd rather not talk about it. Yeah, Reese Downs Jr. ended up, I think, in that mess as well. Joe Nemechek was in this race. What? He was on 27? I didn't even know. Because I don't really pay attention to who's all in the 27 and whatnot. Yeah, still think the best throwback, though, goes to Landon Castle, who didn't finish too well. But yeah, I think that's most of the finishes. But yeah, we saw guys like Larson and Byron both have struggles with the pit stops. With pit stops and making up having to make up spots after the team loses them on pit road. So, is what it is. And also, I want to kind of say this because I didn't say it earlier in the video, but I do want to. But the motorsport community did lose two racers this past weekend. We lost. I'm gonna butcher his name now. Antoine Hubert, and we also, I can't remember the other driver's name. I apologize, but she died in a land speed record attempt, and then Antoine died in an F2 crash this past Saturday at Spa. So really, it's a dark day for all of motorsports. Even though it isn't NASCAR related, it's still, motorsports as a whole, we're one community at this point, and anytime a tragedy like this happens, it's sad to see. So, yeah. I think, though, when it comes to drivers that absolutely needed to perform, I think Suarez has done pretty much everything he needs to bring himself back into title contention here. I'm going to just kind of go over some of the playoff standings right now. But, yeah, so we got Eric Jones has now locked himself in if he wasn't already locked in on points. But now Bowyer and Suarez are both on the inside looking out. Newman is on the outside looking in, and oh my, during this race, he seemed to get into everybody in his way, especially for playoff contenders. I think he got into Suarez. He got into the 32, and the 32 cut it down a tire, and oh, look, who was the free pass that caution? Ryan Newman. Literally like 2 laps after he got into LaJoy and caused the caution. So, but yeah, pretty much though, everybody now above, like from 14th on up in the point standings, has locked in their spot on points. Basically, as long as their team has the funding to run Indy next week. But yeah, now Jimmy Johnson's still 18 points out. He is going to need to win, I think. Like, if Indy wasn't already a must-win for him, Indy is most certainly now, of course, he could make all that up in the first 2 stages, but I just have not seen that kind of speed out of Jimmy Johnson in his entire career early on in the race. A lot of what he hasn't necessarily dominated a lot of races, but he's closed them out at the end of the race, which worked under the old point system, but under this new system with the chase and whatnot, you need to perform throughout the race to earn those points, especially if you aren't winning races. Like, of course, if you can close out the race, wins still mean a lot, but yeah, so Jimmy Johnson, though, I think is going to need to win here. But yeah, so that was the Darlington Southern 500. Brickyard 400 at Indy this week. I think this is a great shot. I think Suarez is going to make it in as long as Newman doesn't completely trash his car. Bowyer needs to be careful of where that cutoff line is because he's only 8 points above it. And if Newman does well, which that 6 car won a stage here in this race a year ago. But yeah, I'm excited though to see what happens in the Brickyard 400 this year. Of course, this game moved around next year, but so we got Indianapolis though, the final race before the playoffs, and we've got Las Vegas. Just in case you guys don't know the rounds, it's Las Vegas, Richmond, and then Roval, and then it's and then it's Dover, Talladega, Kansas, then Martinsville, Texas, Phoenix, and then Homestead for the finale this year. So my pick, I think Suarez stays in. I think Newman gets in over Bowyer, and I think Johnson and Bowyer both miss. That's kind of my prediction going into this race. I think it's going to be largely dominated by both the Toyotas of Kyle Busch and Truex. I mean, it just kind of feels like it's going to be a 2017 style Brickyard 400. Granted, both of them ended up in the wall in that race, so maybe they won't dominate. But yeah, so of course, no lights at Indy because sound pollution and whatnot, I think. So yeah, they can't run late at night. So at least we won't have another 2 a.m. finish here this week. Yeah, so hopefully you guys all enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to support the channel, there are some links down in the description that can help you out with that. And otherwise, hopefully you guys enjoyed the race. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.